Well, y'all, I live in one of them senior communities where it's 55 and over. And so, I know I'm old. I am a little old, and it might not look like it, baby. That's because black don't crack, all right? We tend to keep things together. And all you need is a little Vaseline and some Noxzema. It cures everything, baby. So that's how I stay looking young. Well, excuse me, baby. Sometimes when you get old, you start belching and, on one end to the other. Well, anyway, baby, I was outside, mowing my lawn, and usually Chico helps me mow my lawn, but him and his family went on vacation, and so anyway, Miss Lily come walking with her dog Cheetah. She did right to name him Cheetah, baby, because he looked like a cheetah pet. So anyway, but it just seemed like all the time, every time she get in front of my house, she want to let Cheetah use the bathroom. He drops one log right there in front of my bushes. And I said, Miss Lily, I said, they got the pooper scooper. And she act like she don't hear me because, she wears a hearing aid, And I think she turns it off when she really don't want to hear people. I think she can really hear. Well, anyway, she kept doing it, baby. So that day when she did it, I was pretty pissed. I was pretty upset with her. And I said, Miss Lily, I said, you need to stop Cheetah from pooing in my yard. And, you get him some poopery or something and use your pooper scooper. Because the rules in the community say you need to pick that up. And, and she acted like she couldn't hear me, but I went and flipped that hearing aid on her. I flipped it on. I grabbed her by her head and I flipped on. I said, don't you hear me? And she like, Johnny May, what you doing? And then she started screaming like I was attacking her. And I took her face and I said, listen, I pushed her down where she can smell that poop. I said, get that plastic out. And she had one. She just didn't want to use it in my yard. Now, if that was Sam across the street, she would have picked it up, But I guess she figured, Cheetah was going to fertilize. So I made her pick it up. I made her grab and pick it up. And then I turned her hearing aid off because I had a few choice words for her and I just didn't want her to report me to the association.